This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is The Burning Stars. It was written by David Conyers, and it can be found in Terrors from Beyond. I'm the Keeper of Arcane Lore, and this is Episode 2. Our recap will be given by Joe Bardalis as his character, James Sterling. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Joe?
Early this morning, I woke up in what was apparently a hospital with no idea how I got there or where I was. Quickly realized that I wasn't the only person in this room. There were 5 other people. Some I recognized, some I didn't. My daughter Donna and her friend Amy were in there as well. As was my personal assistant, bodyguard, and charge d'affaires, Mr. Sean O'Neill. They too were waking up, utterly confused. 2 other gentlemen occupied the room. We later learned their names, Dirk Kessler and Guy Randall. They were private detectives, and none of us knew what had happened to us. Dr. Alan Kelly introduced himself and was trying to ease us into what our reality was, but we were all very confused in how we got there. And so finally we pushed him to get some information. And he kept telling us, this is the longest you've been conscious. Dr. Kelly informed us that we were at Elmwood Military Hospital in Camp Haitian on the island of Haiti. Not one of us had any memory of going to Haiti, let alone why we would be here. Eventually, as we were getting ready, we found out that we were on the base and that Major Medwin, who was the head of the base, wanted to speak to us. But before he came in, one of the Haitian nurses was coming in to change some towels, some bedpans, and she looked at us and in she dropped everything she was holding in a loud clatter and said, "You have been marked by Baron Lacroix." Well, naturally, this disturbed us because we're still trying to figure out why we would be here in Haiti. Major Medwin came in. He filled us in on some of the details. We were all found wandering together in the jungles on the outskirts of Port-au-Prince. We had only the clothes on our back, some bruises and scrapes, but no identification or any other belongings. We were told that they really couldn't keep us there, so we were sent home. We were going to be sent home, and that's when the first odd event occurred. That's when all of a sudden we had this leap forward in time that was very disconcerting to all of us. We all experienced it. We were in a car on our way to the hotel that we were staying at. And there was a young major just describing the town, pointing things out. It was very confusing. Eventually got to the hotel, able to try to put some pieces together, got our rooms. Turns out that apparently the detectives were hired by me. As we were putting pieces together, we all went to our respective rooms trying to clean up after this ordeal we'd been through. And we started looking and we noticed that our belongings had been ruffled through. It was very odd. I had this very weird feeling, very fuzzy in all of my thoughts. I don't even know how I got to Haiti, but all I could think of was my son, Jack, and somehow he was involved. Well, my assistant and bodyguard, Mr. O'Neill, he was also convinced that we were in a lot of trouble, that someone was trying to kill us. Not sure why my daughter Donna would be here or why she would bring her friend. Why would have let them come along on something like this? But eventually, we were able to we were able to find some of our stuff that had been a lot of our stuff had been taken out of Sean's suitcase. But Sean found a manifest for an arms delivery and the date. And looked at the date. It was earlier than we allegedly arrived here. Apparently, we came here around the 23rd. We disappeared on the night of the 27th and woke up on the 30th, 2 days later, which is today. Looking at the manifest, the delivery of the shipment was October 6th, which meant that it came before we even arrived here. Again, don't remember doing that. So I'm getting to put pieces together. I think my son Jack may have been here and somehow has gone missing. Well, eventually, everyone got settled, cleaned up. I had the idea that I would invite everyone to lunch and maybe we could put our pieces together. The two detectives seem to be holding their cards close to their vest, and apparently I've hired them, and I don't blame them. I'm in the same boat. I have no clue what is going on. Well, I had an idea to take us all to lunch. I was getting ready to go tell my daughter Donna and Amy that we would be going to lunch. And the next thing we know, we had one of those time shifts again where we're all sitting at the table while the oddly perturbed waiter was walking away with our order. So we started slowly exchanging information, things that we found amongst ourselves. But everything that we exchanged always brought up more questions. I learned that Dirk and Guy were indeed hired by me from a letter they found that said that I had engaged them to help in finding my son Jack. So now we know why we're here. We just don't remember how we got here. Of course, my daughter Donna and her friend Amy have been quite brilliant. They're coming up with great questions, things that we need to find answers to, directions that we can take. I like to think that I brought my daughter Donna here not because I'd put her in risk, but, well, she's a bright young woman. She's studying anthropology. Maybe she can help on this island. Oh, another weird thing. When I took my shower and got out of it, there was some kind of fortune teller's card in the mirror. Somebody had come into my room or to the bathroom while I was taking a shower, possibly through the window, even though there's no balcony. It's only 2 stories, but they left this strange card in French. It said La Mort, the death card, I guess, number 13. It was upside down in the mirror. I asked Sean if anyone had come in, a maid or anything, but he said no. And well, anyway, while we were having our dinner, Amy Lachlan, a future brilliant reporter, she noticed that two of the naval officers from the ONI, Office of Naval Intelligence, were in the cafe across from us, and they were clearly following us, staking us out. Very odd. I mean, I'd like to know what's happened to me too, but it just seems odd that they would be following us. My daughter has some brilliant ideas too, things about tracing our steps, seeing if anything the hotel people remember. If there's a way we can find out. As we were finishing our lunch, I noticed on the other table a newspaper dated the 28th, the day we were found, apparently. It said the night before, a group of whites had gone into the outskirts, into the jungle hills outside of Port-au-Prince. And it was reported by the natives that they were killed. And when they went to investigate, they found human blood at the scene, but no bodies. There's got to be a connection somehow. The natives wouldn't say who. It's this Baron Lacroix. I don't know who that is. But there was also an ad of a name that the 2 detectives of someone that they had gone to visit, at least according to their notes. They certainly don't remember it happening. It was a woman, Marie, I don't know. She's a reader of tarot, possibly a voodoo priestess or something. But there's somebody else I want to talk to. Anyway, Marie Jerome. So, anyway, that's where we are. We're finishing up our lunch and just sitting here with more questions than things we've managed to answer.
Great. So, what are your plans?
James is it's very concerning to him because his daughter did get upset that, like, why would Jack be here? Why would she be here? Why would I bring her here? And I just want to reassure her that I believe that she's here because she's a sterling. She's brilliant. She's in college studying anthropology. I probably thought she would be a good resource for like trying to deal with the natives of the island and their culture to help us find her brother. And of course, she surrounds herself with the best people like I do. So she brought her good friend Amy, who's proven to be a very inquisitive yet brilliant reporter who can put clues together. So I kind of like some of the leads they had at the end, like trying to figure out like what was our behavior in the hotel, like from the staff or something. Just maybe we can put some pieces together. And obviously, Marie Jerome's name coming up both in Dirk and Guy's notes as well as in the paper, and that fortune tarot card. I kind of want to follow up on that as well first.
I think something that Donna's interested in, that we all discussed, someone going through our things. We never asked the concierge if anyone had come looking for us at the hotel while we were gone, if they had seen anyone, staff or otherwise, entering our rooms and exiting our rooms while we were gone.
A very good point, Tom. Very good point. I think it seems like we need to get information from the staff, see if we can subtly find out our behavior and what happened while we were gone. That's absolutely brilliant. Maybe you and Amy can work on getting some results from them if you think that's a good idea.
You're all sitting around the table at the cafe.
Yeah. We also, I think we discussed getting some guns for ourselves and perhaps finding a person who isn't going through these weird time jumps that we're all going through that are just absolutely disconcerting. Somebody pops from the warehouse.
There'll have to be someone quite trustworthy because we don't necessarily want to reveal any personal deals to somebody we can't trust.
And I don't know who that person is. Who do we have at the warehouse? Anybody?
I'll go find out. That's the first thing I was going to do, was to see about securing some irons for us.
Yeah, so that would be 2 birds with 1 stone. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. O'Neill.
Yes.
Do you believe that it would be maybe a good idea for not only Amy and I to use our feminine wiles to get some information about who may have visited us at the hotel, but perhaps since Amy is a reporter, she may be able to get some information from the local newspaper about that article we read.
Oh, absolutely. That seems quite plausible.
Brilliant.
Maybe it opens some doors. I was going to suggest, Miss Sterling, that given your background in anthropology, you might be the person to talk to Mr. Northeast. He might be open to conversing with you if you haven't already talked to him.
Oh, yes.
That could be interesting.
I don't know much about Haitian culture, but certainly it couldn't hurt.
What are we going to do about our tail? So we have 6 people. If we split up into groups of 2, there are too many groups for them to follow.
Yes, that's not a bad thing.
Yep. I was
so
thinking,
me and Donna.
I was thinking that Guy and I would also, we were thinking the anthropologist follow up on that lead.
Okay.
Because that's the one that kind of sticks out as, I don't know, it's a little odd to me. The other ones, the other leads make a little bit of sense, but I'm guessing, Mr. Northeast or Dr. Northeast probably leads into a few of the others.
Well, at least one of you gentlemen should probably check on Miss Jerome, because the card we got, she'll be able to interpret what is the message behind it.
Right. And I do think that it's probably for the best that we don't retrace our steps verbatim, because that's what led us to this memory lapse, this catatonia that we all seem to be falling into.
Mm.
Well, if your leave, Mr. Sterling, I'll go look into the first thing we need to do, which is to get some protection.
Okay. And if there's anyone that you feel at the warehouse that might be,
If I recognize someone trustworthy, I'll recruit them.
all right.
So Thom, I'll go to check on our holdings to see if I can get ourselves some firearms.
Sounds
So
good.
you're going to head to Labadee Imports?
Yes, Labadee Imports.
Okay. James, where are you going?
I'm probably going to go, well, I don't want to be in the hotel room alone. I might go to the hotel lobby. I might start some of the waiting for Sean to get back with the weapons. I kind of want to keep my family together. Just my family and my daughter and her friend. But I don't want to hold them back if they
And
want
also,
to
we
go
haven't
somewhere.
heard from Mother yet. Maybe
Yes, I have to
Mother's
wait
phone
for the
call will
call.
come
That's
through.
correct.
Yes.
We have to hear to see if she's heard anything or any
Mm.
threats or received any. So I do have to go back to the hotel for a bit and wait for Sean to return. But I want to stay more lobby-like instead of in my room waiting for the call. Maybe try to charm
Just go in
some
there
of
and
the,
sit.
let's say maybe charm some of the staff to see if they remembered things about the week while we were there.
Okay.
Mr. Sterling,
Allowed
I
us.
seriously think you shouldn't be left alone at any point because of the threats on your life, the card, what your assistant has said. I strongly suggest that you either stay with one of us or your family members. But being left alone is, I feel, highly unadvised.
I
Well,
don't want to
Daddy,
leave my.
you could stay with me and Amy because we were going to head back over to the hotel too.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to be in a public place like the
Mm.
lobby until
Sean
Sean.
is also your bodyguard. So
Being in
this
a
is really-
public place in a foreign country doesn't necessarily mean safety, especially.
Do you think I should
Yeah.
stay with my bodyguard, Mr.
I would strongly suggest it. I think he definitely has your best interest at heart, and we all do, of course, but he definitely has been your advocate since we've woken up, and I think
All
that's
right, maybe that's what I
that
should do.
valuable
I
asset.
want to make sure my daughter and her friend are safe as well. Um, and I know they want to go back to the hotel because they have some inquiries to make, but I don't know. We need those weapons is what we need so that we can protect ourselves or at least feel confident. And I think everyone in this room or at this table, I should say, can handle a gun. So that should be our first priority, going and get the guns, and I'll stay with them. And I'll let you detectives, whatever you are thinking you need to do, retracing. But I would like to talk to that Marie Jerome woman and see as well. But let's get armed first. Let's not go out to the streets of Port-au-Prince without anything.
So it's me and Mr. Sterling going to the
Well, and
warehouse.
perhaps we can find out if these military men that are watching us, maybe they're watching a specific person in our group. And by splitting up like this, maybe it would be a better idea for you to go with Mr. O'Neill, Daddy, because then we can find out who they're really trying to follow.
Ah, that's a good point. Wow. I knew there was a reason I brought you. That's what
Okay.
we'll do.
So Sean and James are going to Labadee. Donna and Amy, where are you going?
You want to go back
Uh,
to the hotel, Amy?
Yeah, I think we can go to the hotel.
Mm.
And then maybe after that we can go to Dr. Bruce, Northeast.
Yes, that sounds perfect.
And then Dirk and Guy, what are you guys going to do?
Well, I was thinking we would go to Dr. Bruce Northeast.
Do you also
well.
want to go there?
Yeah.
So
How
you
about
guys-
if we there's a couple things that Dirk and I need to tend to before we go to Dr. Northeast, we could come back and meet up with Donna and Amy
Yeah.
and escort them there. So
I would feel good about that, at least till we get these guns from storage.
all
Well,
right.
when do we want to meet back? Do we want to meet back at the cafe when we're done with our errands, or do you want to meet back at the hotel?
You
I
meet
think we
back for
could-
lunch?
Yeah. That works. Lunch, meet back up here at lunch, and then head out to see the doctor.
Mm.
Lunch or dinner? Aren't we at lunch now? These
No,
times
you're
are
well.
so-
Yeah, I
It was-
forget where
More
we
of a
were.
brunch.
Yeah, it's kind of
It was a brunch.
mid-morning.
Okay, well, yeah, mid-morning. You probably got a couple of hours before lunch.
Okay. We'll meet up at lunch then. Same cafe.
Okay.
Okay,
Right?
let's handle it in this order. So Donna and Amy, you go back to the hotel. What are you going to do?
I would like to go to the concierge. Is he
Okay.
available?
Yeah, he's there.
Yes.
We
Hello. Yes. My friend and I, we're staying in room 103. Oh, that's the detectives. We're staying in room 102. And we were wondering, everyone in our party seems to have had their luggage rifled through. Was there anyone coming to the hotel looking for us while we were absent?
he looks at you rather confused. Do a psychology roll.
Okay. It's not great.
You can both do it if you want.
Oh,
59.
no.
I have 40, so
73.
fail.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm way, way off.
You can always spend luck, but if you're way off, then you might
Yeah,
not
I'm
want
super
to.
off.
All right. You don't get any direct feelings from him, but you get the feeling that he might know something, but
Mm.
he's a little reluctant to say,
Hmm.
you know,
Maybe if
They
I
don't make-
snap
they
open
don't
my
make-
coin purse, slide a little bill over to him.
he kind of looks off in the other direction and reaches forward and takes your money. And he says, officers, O and I,
Mm.
they were here a couple of days ago.
Do you remember their ranks or names?
I don't know. But they looked. They went in to your rooms.
Do you know about how long they were
He
in
looks at
there?
nurse. He's like, yeah, well, he says, maybe half an hour.
Oh.
But he's like, I didn't tell you this.
Mm. Did you see them leave
Oh.
with anything?
I tried not to interfere. They're in charge, so we don't cause any problems.
Mm. I very much appreciate your help. Thank you so much. And by the way, have you heard anything back about the phone call my father placed international to my mother?
The phone has not rung.
Mm. I don't know, Amy. Why do you think the military men would be up in our rooms rifling through our things?
I mean, we were a guest, so to say, at their hospital. Maybe they were trying to find out what happened to us because they seemed to be in the dark as well. But why toss the room like that? Why not just,
Right. It would seem like they were looking for something specific.
Yeah, because keeper question, I think a few of the rooms were not as messed up as others, right?
Well, they didn't seem to go through Guy and Dirk's room.
Yeah, so yeah, it did seem like they were going for something
But
specific.
but they wouldn't know that, right? Like we didn't share that our room wasn't tossed.
Right, you didn't. So yeah, you
Ah,
wouldn't
okay.
know that. But you do know that your dad's or possibly Sean's briefcase was emptied.
Mm.
I don't know if you
Maybe
shared that
Amy,
either, but you probably do know that.
mm, maybe Amy, they think we have something, and that's why they're still following us because they think we have it on our person since they didn't find it in the room.
Yeah. Did they follow us here or one of the two O&I people?
When you look out into the onto the street where the cafe is, they're still sitting there.
Mm.
Hmm.
This is
You're not sure
very
if it's the
odd,
same two, but it's definitely there's a couple out there.
right? Maybe we should go talk to them, Amy. What do you think?
I was wondering if that was wise or not. We can just stroll up, pretend like we don't know they're following us.
Oh, well, yes, we can flirt a little, act like maybe we're interested.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So you leave the hotel, you go back out onto the street, and you start walking towards them. Um, since you're looking right at them as you're moving, you can see that they notice that you're coming, and the one turns and says something to the other. It gives him a nudge. Um, and then they sort of pretend like they're having a conversation as you come up.
Well, hello.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yes,
Um,
you're looking very
good
fine
morning.
today. What perchance brings you to the cafe here?
Um, I'm sorry. We're
Oh, we're just
just
wondering,
having coffee.
yes. Oh, do you frequent this place?
Occasionally, yeah.
Oh, that's very nice. We ate across the street. It was very pleasant. Have you been there before?
Sure. He looks very uncomfortable, or one of them looks very uncomfortable. They both look uncomfortable. They
Are
keep
you quite
looking at
well?
each other.
Is anything the
Uh,
matter?
yeah. You'll have to excuse us. And they get up and leave some money on the table for their bill, and then start walking away.
Oh,
But a
well,
couple times they glance back
toodaloo.
at you, and as they're going, you think you can hear one of them say, "What the fuck?"
Story
And
of my life.
and okay, well, let's jump to Dirk and Guy. Um, I was a little confused as whether you're going to get back with them or what you were doing. What are you doing at the moment? Are you waiting for them?
I wanted, yeah, just to have a couple minutes to talk to Dirk about basically how we're going to approach it.
Okay.
Uh,
Stroll around the block.
So you guys
yeah,
are over here
yeah.
chatting.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, I feel kind of bad for sending them on a chase to get guns, but I don't feel like comfortable arming civilians in a foreign country.
Yeah. So, quick question before I go through this. The Sterlings told us their bags were going through, right? They shared that information. Okay.
I think you all talked about it at
Okay.
breakfast or
Yeah.
something.
I wanted to make sure. So yeah, my issue with the whole thing is their stuff was going through and ours wasn't. Do you think that we had any reason to go through their stuff? Like, are we the ones that went to their rooms and rifled through stuff?
I think I don't think we did it, but I because of the card that was given to you, I think that in the dossier that we read about how they are suspected of selling to both sides. I mean, quite honestly, if our organization has that information, I'm guessing the military intelligence does too.
Yeah.
And I think we need to call that card before we go any further because I honestly feel that O'Neill, and that's where my reluctance to arm them is arming a potential adversary because O'Neill, his main interest is protecting his boss, and I understand that because that's his job. But I don't want to give him the gun that he's going to point at me either.
Right.
So I think I mean I'm not going to stop him from finding a firearm, but I'm not going to give one that's going to potentially arm me. And arming a couple dames also seems like a bad idea too. So my I think we should call that number, see what they have to say, and then maybe escort the two ladies to the Doctor Northeast to see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we were hired by them, but we came down here with them and then kind of, I mean, we are where we are because it's I'm not quite trusting of them yet.
Yeah, this is sideways. Like,
Yeah.
who I don't what is going on? I'm trying to keep it together, but being in a foreign country, not with amnesia, sounds like a bad movie.
Yeah. And segments of the day missing here and there. I mean, mo most of a week missing, but
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So we can get to a phone, and call the major. That's the card we got was from Major Medwin. See if he has any information he could share with us as to maybe he knows more than he let on.
All right. So you know that there's a phone in the lobby. Um, so you go in to the lobby, and as you come in, once again, the concierge kind of gives you an odd look as you go over to the phone. You're going to call Medwin?
Yeah.
Okay. The phone rings. You hear Office of Naval Intelligence. How can I route your call? Sounds like
Yeah.
an operator.
Yeah. It's Detective Dirk Kessler. We were there earlier, and I was just wondering if we could get a moment to speak with Major Medwin if he's available.
One moment. There's a couple of minutes. Um, a voice comes over the phone. This is Medwin.
Major Medwin, Detective Dirk Kessler. We had the pleasure of meeting with you earlier.
Uh, yeah, Mr. Kessler, how are you feeling?
All in all, mostly better. I've kind of gotten used to this headache that's just sitting in the back of my skull. Staying conscious for the most part, losing a little bit of time here and there, but I think
No
definitely better.
blackouts or anything like that going on anymore?
No, no blackouts.
Oh,
Just,
good.
yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. What can I do for you?
Well, we just wanted to follow up since we had your card and just see if we were hired by the Sterling family, to come find their son Jack. We've kind of learned that now, it's after getting back to our room and finding our notes. And I was just wondering if you had any information on or know anything, if that triggers anything.
Uh, Jack Sterling?
Yeah.
Um, Mr. Kessler, are you with Mr. Sterling right now?
No, I'm not.
Look, we have a couple of questions. To be perfectly straightforward and honest with you, there have been a number of investigations of Mr. Sterling in the past, with respect to, oh, how can I say this delicately? Possibly selling arms to both sides of a conflict. And we haven't found any evidence of this yet, but I'm afraid that as long as Mr. Sterling is in town, we need to keep an eye on you.
Okay, so that
Um,
would that explain the couple officers that may have been shadowing us?
yeah, I have posted. Um,
Understandable.
so far, none of them have reported back anything interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the surveillance, but it's my job. I'm in charge of security in Haiti. So,
Yeah, no, I understand. We found communication of our own that kind of indicates the same about Mr. Sterling and selling to both sides, but no hard proof of anything. But
well, if you run across some evidence, we would certainly be appreciative if you would help us out. Um,
yeah, we can do
is there
that.
anything else? Anything else you might remember?
I don't think so. I think we're going to try to we found our notes, and I think we're going to try to retrace our steps and just kind of get caught back up at the situation as it is and see where things were before we're out
Well,
of
you
the
have
world
my
for a
number.
week.
If there's anything, you know, if there's anything you need, give me a call. And if you need assistance in something, if you're in a situation, the ONI officers are there. So,
Absolutely. We appreciate that very much, Major.
all right. Um, have a good day. Take a rest. Make sure you're doing okay.
Will do.
All right. And he hangs up the
Yep.
phone.
I relay all that to Guy.
Okay.
I'd now like to go over to the front desk clerk and talk to him a little bit.
Okay. As you walk up to him, he once again looks really confused and he says, yes, monsieur.
And
Is there something I can do for you?
absolutely, I'd like to know. Every time we walk by you, you have a look on your face, like someone just peed in your Cheerios. I don't know if they're around yet, but whatever breakfast is. And I
I'm
want to
sure the
know.
French have something like that
Yeah,
that you can
yeah.
say.
And so I would like to know what is this about? Is there something that have I offended you?
Oh,
Or
no,
is there
no,
anything I
no,
can do
monsieur.
to?
I,
Uh,
I, I apologize. I don't want any trouble.
oh, I don't want any trouble either. I just want to know what's going on, what you're thinking. Is there something that I should know? I definitely I'm not going to leave until I get an answer, and it would be great if this could be resolved amicably. I'm a reasonable
Well,
person.
well, monsieur, there are some very strange things that I just don't understand. Um, if you don't mind me saying so, there's and you find yourselves out in the street with Donna and Amy walking in a certain direction. You're not in the same part of the town you were a moment ago. Um, from the streets, you think you're heading towards uh, either Madame Jerome's or maybe this Dr. Northeast, but you don't seem to have any recollection of how you got there. The same for Amy and Donna. You don't know how you got where you are, but there's kind of that dark fuzziness in the back of your mind, like something happened. The sun is higher up in the sky. Time seems to have passed. But we'll leave you
What
now and we'll
happened?
go. We'll leave you in that position. We'll go back to James and Sean. James and Sean, you walk across town, heading towards the docks. Of course, Port-au-Prince is a port city, so from looking down, you can see the ocean, you can see the ships and everything. You get down there, and there is a large area with a sign over it, Labadee Imports. It looks like a combination of warehouse, but the warehouse is mostly roof and lots of spaces where things have been stored, things have been piled up. It looks like there's sugar, there's fruits and vegetables, there's all sorts of boxes, crates, and things like that. It's busy. You can see people moving things around. You can see that there are no ships currently docked at the port, but you can see that there are some out in the ocean, probably getting ready to dock and get unloaded. You wander around a bit and you finally see a man. Oh, he looks like he's maybe 45, 50 years old. He has a cigar in his mouth and he's shouting orders at people. He's behind a little upright, a standing desk with stuff that he's filling out, books and things like that. And then you can see he's directing people. No, you need to move that over into 13, move that over to 17, and so forth. Guys too.
So he looks like the controller type that would know where everything.
He looks like he's the one managing all of this.
All right. Well, we'll go over I'll go over. Well, the two of us will go over. Obviously, I'll introduce myself, saying that we have some stuff that we're keeping in the warehouse, and we'd like to check on our wares.
Who are you?
Mr. O'Neill, and I represent Mr. Sterling. Here we have. I know from the little card where our stuff should be kept, right? So he's probably got something in his list that we've got stuff here.
Well, you got to have more than that. Do you have a manifest to show me of what you've got here? I don't know who you are.
Yeah, show him the manifest. The little card we got. The list.
Mr. Sterling.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he looks around. Yeah, we've got your crates. In fact, they've been here a little bit too long. They've been here like 3 days longer than they're supposed to have been. I thought they were going to get shipped out somewhere. We got that first shipment a couple of months ago for the military, and your farm equipment here. And he looks at you like he obviously knows what he's talking about.
We're just checking on the status of the farm equipment.
I'd expected that to go through. Right now, it's just taking up room, and time is money. Says, I'll tell you what. He says, I really don't want to hold it any longer. Either get it shipped out of here, or I'm going to dump it in the fucking ocean. The O and I have been snooping around. We don't want them knowing anything. Wink, wink, hint, hint.
Well, don't be too hasty, sir. Sometimes these deals take a little while to collect on the other end.
Well,
we're just going to check. We'll check our stuff. You'll be duly compensated for your hassle because we're good for it.
Yeah, I'd say maybe $300 to keep. How long are you going to store it here? I really don't have the room for this.
Well,
you got 60 crates over here.
Yeah. Why don't we, Mr. Sterling? Why don't we have it pay for the difference and have it stored for another couple of days while we get things settled? And we're just going to inspect stuff.
You want to inspect it? All right.
Yeah.
So he's talking to you as you're going along, and he seems to be making sure that nobody is around.
Yes, exactly. We'll do the same thing.
I never got told where the stuff was going, but I can pretty much guess that you sent all those nice new weapons to the military last month, and you're probably trying to do a deal, which I can appreciate doing that. But I'm the middleman, and I've dealt with Mr. Sterling's stuff before. So
you've always been well looked after.
So here's the crates. He brings you up to him, and he says, he hands you a crowbar and says, you're welcome to to take a look. I got to go back. I got work to do. But if you need something,
you
call me.
will do.
All right. So he goes back. He hands you back the manifest, by the way.
Right. So I'm presuming, Thom, that since we're old pros at this, I probably know if there's a code for the different types of farm equipment for this is probably pistols, this is probably rifles, this is probably potato mashers. I don't know.
There's no code. They're all just
Do we mark the crate in any particular way, maybe with a symbol or something?
No,
then I'll just
you're
open
not
up a
usually
crate.
going to be here to do anything.
Good point. Okay, I'll just open up a crate. Take a look.
All right. You have to kind of pry the lid off, and we'll say it's hinged in the back, so you're prying the front end of it off. And you lift it up, and I'd like you to do a spot hidden for me. But what's obvious...
Just a regular success.
Okay. What's obvious is it looks like each crate has 10. Now, I don't know guns very well, but this is a
I don't either.
.30-06 Springfield rifle. There's
Probably
10 of them
weapon.
in the box, and there are 50 rounds each in the box. You're with him, right, James? Yeah. Do an intelligence roll. That makes sense.
That is a fail by 10.
Really? You have high intelligence.
Should I roll as well, Thom, or is there any point?
Go ahead.
Okay. Some of us are having a bad day. Regular success.
Okay. You look at these, and although you don't recall the deal or anything that was going on, you realize these are old model, subpar, from what
we're selling our
normal
rubbish
things.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're selling the good stuff to the Navy and the bad stuff to the rebels. You also know that the rebels are mostly farmers, and of course, the military are military trained soldiers. So in a battle, there's really not
fighting.
There's really not much hope that the farmers.
How can these poor devils even afford to pay us for the rubbish that we're giving them? I mean, this seems like anyways, whatever. It's Mr. Sterling's job. So I don't even think I don't think I'd even want to use one of these things, and they'd probably blow up in my face. Is that what I'm worried about?
Well, and you wouldn't want to walk around town with it.
Obviously, I don't want to carry a rifle around town. There's no pistols in here.
You don't find any pistols. Gonna check all the boxes.
Yeah, we do need to find. I'm going to seal this one back up.
Okay.
Count a couple. I'll just try a couple more to see if we can find something that isn't a rifle.
After a couple more, they all seem to be the same. They all seem to be these rifles. However, on the third box that you open, I imagine that they're not just laying in the crate. They've got like, what is it called? Excelsior packed around them to keep them somewhat cushioned and so forth. As you pull back the Excelsior,
I don't know that's what it's called. That's an interesting name for it. Excelsior.
I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure.
Straw.
Yeah, it looks like straw.
Okay.
Yeah. As you pull that back, your hand touches and reveals another card. This one is also upside down when you pick it up.
Well, this artist is terribly creative.
Devil, le diable.
They're throwing all the mean cards at us, sir.
What do you mean the main cards? The face
Well,
card?
none of the friendly ones. You know, I'm sure there's quite a few cards in that deck that are somewhat nicer.
Why are they all upside down?
It usually means, I think, something worse if they're upside down, but I could be wrong. Although the devil reversed might be a good thing.
Perhaps maybe it's Maybe
I don't know. This is why we need to talk to that fortune teller.
yeah, maybe she's sending us clues to come and speak to her. I mean, the death card was upside down.
Well, if she managed to sneak into the warehouse and hide it in this particular crate, out of all the crates that I just happened to open up the third one, she's very, very precognizant, sir.
Maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. The
Yes,
supernatural.
I'm not much of a religious man, sir, but I'm beginning to have some considerations. I'm going to stick that in my breast pocket for later. Oh, to the back of the card, because, that actually sometimes is important. Is there something about the back that suggests a particular style or design?
It's not important.
Okay.
We'll just say that it's black.
Cool. Okay, it's black.
Appear for it to be from the same deck.
It looks the same style.
But now you've given me something to think about for the next time I play it. What does the back look like?
Right. Is it again just more rifles?
It's all just rifles.
Damn it. I usually carry weapons with me when I travel. Maybe we lost them in the jungle. Maybe
well, sir, we do have channels and connections we could try to pull on in order to get some proper handguns.
We need to do that right away.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to make some calls and stuff.
This Madame Jerome.
This is all just rifles, probably.
Yeah, this Madame Jerome. We need to speak with her right away, I think.
So the man you spoke to before, he comes back in your direction, and he says, "Okay, is everything in order?" And he hands
Seems to be proper.
He hands you sort of an agreement sheet that says you owe him $300 for storage. And he says, "Now, level with me. Who are you going to get these to? Or who are you selling these to?"
My son Jack is working on a deal with someone. I don't know their exact names yet, but they're working something out. Because we have
you'd probably be better off not knowing too much for your own safety. You should bear that in mind.
I know that the the Cocos rebels are probably the ones you're selling to. There's not many avenues in Port-au-Prince. There's the iron market, but that's pretty shady.
But did you see Jack in the last little while? You remember him?
Jack Sterling?
Yeah, have you run into him since?
It seems to me there was somebody here with the naval stuff that came in a few weeks ago. But I talked to a lot of people, so.
Where is she?
Anyways, if there's anything else you need, or if you need me to make some inquiries for you, but I expect to get paid.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the paperwork.
If I don't get paid in a couple of days, I'm gonna dump it all.
Understandable.
Or I'll sell it myself.
We'll get you paid.
Well, be careful.
Be careful too.
All right, we'll take the paperwork, because presumably we have to process it in some way, or I don't know what we have to do with it. Who knows how businesses do these things? This is Iron Market he mentioned ring a bell? Do any of these things ring a bell? Because I assume our characters know more about this stuff than we do.
Nothing seems to ring a bell.
No, I don't know what the Iron Market is. Okay, great. Or the rebels, what do you call them? The Cockless rebels?
Cocos.
Cocos. Okay, they sounded like something else. The Cocos rebels. That doesn't ring a bell either.
Nope. So.
This was mostly Jack's domain, then, was it, James? Did he know all this stuff? Is this just not our thing?
It rings no bell to me. I'm wondering if Jack was doing a deal on the side on his own. Maybe trying to impress me or something.
We don't know what happened to him.
How could I not remember? Like this would have been months in the work, but I remember none of the details. But I can't say I don't remember it because I can't remember the last.
Do we
7
remember anything like making deals with the Oni or the naval end? Was there, or do we remember handing it off to Jack? Does
It
any of
all
that stuff
seems
there?
fuzzy.
It's
It
very
all seems
fuzzy. I
fuzzy.
mean, I could see myself doing that. I've been trying to, I've been trying to get him in here so he's going to take over the company one day. And he's graduated from school and been trying to get him to do more. I just
I'm
don't.
troubled by our lack of knowledge of something that should be fundamental to our enterprise, sir. This doesn't really
It's
jive
very
well with me.
disturbing. It's very disturbing.
You, of all people, we should actually know at least what Jack was at least nominally dealing with.
Yeah.
Perhaps we should let that gentleman dump those in the ocean if we don't actually know any better.
Definitely an option. We haven't paid him yet, so maybe we can
So, do I have enough?
get the O&I off our back too if we don't
Yeah.
have anything.
Thom, do I have enough streetwise as someone in the field to try to arrange to buy some pistols, or do I just seem to not know that stuff for some reason?
Well, I mean, what would you do?
Troy doesn't know because he's not a streetwise arms merchant who works with black markets.
I mean, Sean would know how to deal with the black market.
Yes, he would. So that's what I'm wondering, if I should just make some inquiries and try to get us a
Yes.
couple of side
Yeah.
items.
way-
Market.
The way, oh, you know what? He never introduced himself. Francis Metro was the
Was that the guy we're dealing with?
Labadee. Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the Labadee guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he was talking about the iron market, it definitely sounded like the black market.
Right.
All right.
All right. So we need to figure out where the iron market is.
So, Sean and James, where are you going to go next? Where are you heading?
I'm not comfortable without the guns yet. Should we?
Should we ask Francis if he can get us an introduction to some people in the iron market? Offer to increase his cut a bit or something? Since
We'll
I don't
say
feel like I
that
don't-
if you ask him,
Mhm.
he'll give you a location, but he'll tell you that the iron market, it is the black market. You can get anything you want there, but they hold it in a different spot, every once in a while, and that they don't do it in the daytime. They do it at night.
And
So it's one of those things you'd need to go to around 11 o'clock at night to get to.
or night owls.
But
Okay.
most people, if you're not talking to white people, then most people know where it is, because that's how they manage to keep going and not pay higher prices. So, yeah, you can inquire. You'd find out where it is.
Okay.
In fact,
Well,
you know
that's
what? Do a luck roll. We'll see if Francis knows where it's going to be.
46. Yeah, that's under my luck.
That's a pass. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
a pass. Yeah.
Yeah, he gives you a location for this evening. But show up around 11.
Yep.
And you will stand out like a sore thumb because you're white.
Yep.
But you don't look military, so
That's a point in our favor.
all right. So what were you going to do then next?
Well, Mr. Sterling, now that we have 2 cards, we should possibly go see that fortune teller. I'm sure she'll be able to educate us in some way on what's going on.
I think that's a good idea.
It seems like the girls and the detectives want to talk to the anthropologist. Let's go talk to the fortune teller.
Let's do that.
Okay. So James and Sean, you start to walk, and as you're walking, this kind of monotony comes over you. The feeling of your feet hitting the ground and all of that. You start to feel, you're hot, you're sweaty, and so forth. you suddenly, for some reason, you feel like you're overly sticky, wet, and
Well,
you put your hands in your pockets because it feels like your pants are kind of wet.
mhm.
And when you draw your hands out, they're completely covered in blood.
Oh God. Oh my God, Sean.
Uh, his hands are covered in blood too. Okay.
Yeah, both of you.
We're
Oh
just
my
in the
God.
Oh,
middle
you
of the
look,
street.
you look at, yeah, you're standing in the middle of the streets. You look at one another, and your shirts are partly splattered and soaked with blood. Um, you can feel there's something in your pockets. You pull them out, and it's your passports and your identification.
Right.
But when you open them up,
Mhm.
um, the photos have been blacked out with something.
God.
Right.
You look around and you notice that there's a few people on the street walking here and there that have stopped and they're looking at you.
Yeah.
Like they're afraid of you.
Okay. We need to go back to the hotel and clean up.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
literally dripping blood onto the
Oh,
ground.
like actually it's
all over.
fresh. It's like not just
Yeah,
on us,
like
it's fresh. It's
fresh.
coming out of
Oh
our
my God.
pores.
It seems to be coming from somewhere,
Oh
but you
God.
don't feel any wounds or
If I
Wait a
look,
minute. Do I feel a pulse?
well, yeah, you can feel your heart pounding.
Okay.
is there like a store window I can look in to see if it's some
Yeah.
kind of illusion or something? See if it's not in the
Um,
reflection.
No, I'm looking at
Yeah.
James. He's covered in this stuff, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you both are. Um, James, you look over at a store window, and there's a person standing in the doorway who quickly sees you look in his direction. He backs into the store and closes the door. And for just a moment, you can see your reflection and Sean's reflection, only it's just black. And then you feel dizzy. You start to feel that sort of weird
Oh,
dizziness.
Mhm.
And Donna, Guy, Amy, and Dirk, as you're walking on the street, uh, you suddenly look over near you, and James and Sean are standing there. They sort of come walking out from behind a tree, and they both look completely disoriented. Uh, but you all of a sudden are all there together in the middle of town with no
what happened?
explanation for the
Should we roll?
docks or
Should we roll sanity, or is it?
No, we
roll
should maybe
sanity
roll
if you want
sanity.
to. There's
I don't want to. It just feels like I should.
Yeah.
Well, we just appeared. I mean, what we went through was
you
terrible.
you appeared and a moment ago you were miles away from here.
Are we still covered in blood?
No, you're completely normal.
What?
Yeah.
I
What
failed.
was that?
And your
Mr.
passport,
Sterling,
there's
are
no
you okay?
passports or
I
anything.
passed.
I don't know. You saw that, didn't you, Sean?
Yes.
We have our passports now, and the
Yes.
passports still.
Passports
don't.
are gone.
They're
There's no
gone.
identification.
Did we
Well,
all lose
would we
time
normally carry
again?
them on our person anyways? Or would they be back at the hotel in a safe?
Do we even have them anymore? That's a good question.
You haven't found them at all.
We haven't found them. We hadn't had any ID. We were found with no ID. We didn't have any in the hotel. Okay.
Okay.
Donna,
I-
you look up in the sky and you realize it's well into the afternoon,
Lunch.
and it was
Ah.
morning earlier.
Is anyone wearing a watch? I don't have mine on, but doesn't it seem much later in the day?
It is. We were miles away, and then we were here.
Daddy, how did you get here?
I don't know. I don't know. We don't remember coming here.
Your
Walking.
clothing, especially from your knees down, is dirty, like you've been walking in the dirty, dusty streets.
God, you go all
You
around.
feel a little fatigued in your hips, like you've been walking.
Yeah, it's been walking aimlessly. in a
Where
catatonic
are
state.
we? The
I don't
last
know.
thing I
Did
remember, I was with Amy and we approached those military men. Don't be mad, Daddy, but we wanted to see what they wanted, and they just
Oh,
got up and walked away. But that's the last thing I remember.
uh,
did any of you foresee any blood on your persons? Did you
Blood?
experience
Blood?
blood?
No.
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 Did
before
someone get
this,
hurt?
before this happened, we both had a common, I guess it was a hallucination. Uh,
Was
we
it?
were both covered in blood. I pulled out my passport. I was like, "Oh, my pass," but I'm covered in blood, and my picture was completely blacked out, and then everyone was afraid of us because we're covered in blood, and the next thing I know, we're here, and my shirt is clean, and I don't have the passport anymore.
Would it be a memory?
I'd like to try to orient to where we are, um, just to see like if were we on our way to Dr. Northeast.
We were
It
heading to
looks like
see
you
the
were
fortune
in.
teller.
It looks like you were in the general direction of both of them.
Mhm.
Looks like the fortune teller is where you would get to first. Go in
All
this
right.
We
direction.
need to talk to her.
All right,
We
I
really do.
suggest we should make our way there. I think we all have a vested interest in this now.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
So
I'm not
maybe
one
we
to
already
believe.
have talked to her and we just forgot.
Well,
maybe
we
she can
need
help
to know
us.
again
We'll see what
then.
the problem is. Yeah, we'll just keep going and going until we talk to her and we remember it.
All right.
I do a quick pat down of pockets and stuff, see if anything's appeared during the lost time.
Nothing new.
Okay.
I don't know if you have your notebook and stuff like that with you, but
I think I do have a notebook, yeah.
I have I have the bug and my gun
Yeah.
and $20.
all right.
Yep.
So you realize that on this path, the fortune teller is just around the corner.
Mm.
But when you get there, what you realize is that the front of the store, or whatever you'd call it, a store, it's a Boulangerie Saint-Pierre. It's a bakery. There is a sign, a small sign in the corner of the front window that says Marie Jerome tarot reading.
This is the place. She must be in back or something.
Are the O and I guys anywhere to be seen?
Do a spot hidden for me.
I pass. Yeah, I passed. Regular
Yeah,
success.
I have a hard success.
Okay, you look around, you don't see them anywhere.
Okay.
And they do kind of stand out because they're in
Mm.
uniform.
All right.
And this part of town is a mix of blacks and whites. So there is I think there's, I forget what the number was, maybe around 300 white people to all the rest of the island is
Yeah.
Haitian black. So this is
Uh.
still the colonial part of the town.
Yeah.
All right, so
No.
you go inside.
Mhm.
It's definitely a bakery. There are a couple people behind the counter. And what seems, I mean, it's once again, it's not a New York bakery. It's not a fancy uptown bakery. It's simple. They've got bread, they've got some pastries, they've got things like that. The counter sort of wraps, with places where you can get the bread out and so forth. And there's a door towards the back that's not a door. It's the colored beads hanging down. And as soon as you walk inside, you get bonjour, or it's
Sure.
afternoon now, so it's whatever good afternoon is in French.
Yeah.
Can we help you? Do you need?
Is Miss Martin in to give a reading?
I'm sorry.
So was it Jerome? What was it?
Marie Jerome.
Is Miss Jerome in to give a reading? Sorry.
Madame Jerome.
One moment. And he goes over and sort of opens up the curtains and goes through. And then a couple say, you hear him back there say, the customers. And he comes back out and he says, yeah, you can go in.
All six of us going?
All
or-
6 of us.
I'm
Yeah.
actually
Trying to
feeling a
avoid
little
that, but I
hungry
guess we
being
couldn't.
around all these baked goods
Yeah,
Let's
before
get
I
a
go,
croissant.
I want to
Yeah.
buy. I want to buy some Napoleons.
and a drink.
Mm.
Yes.
All right. So some of you are going to go in and some of you are going to buy some bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and,
Who
and
wants-
Napoleon's
Time has
tasty
passed.
good.
I think
Who's going to
Mr.
go?
Sterling and I were going to follow through and actually go talk to her. And I
Yeah,
don't know
I-
what these guys are going to do.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because I'm
go
the one
in.
we're the ones getting the cards. So
I mean, I follow it like eating a Napoleon while I'm like, while you know, but yeah.
So you realize, of course, very quickly that the room is not huge. There's a number of paintings on the walls, and there's some colorful trappings, and there's a table, not dead center, but kind of a little towards the back. It's a circular table, and it has a large pentagram, sort of as part of the decoration of it. A woman comes out of the back through another beaded doorway. She comes out and she looks and she says, "Oh, you've come back so soon. Did you decide to have a reading after all?"
Yes.
yes.
Wonderful. How did things go with your inquiries?
Well, we're still busy. When was
Was Dr. Northeast of help?
did we all come here last time, or like is she looking at a specific person, or is she more
No,
like
she's
in
just sort of
general?
looking. She's looking at you, and she says, "But where is the tall, handsome fellow that was with you before?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Would Jack be tall and handsome,
Yeah.
Tom?
I know
Yeah,
what my son
probably.
looks
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
tall, handsome, young.
Yeah.
Does she give any indication like the woman in the hospital, like that look of shock of,
No,
oh, you okay.
no.
All right.
She says, "Well, uh, the last time you were here, you were asking me all sorts of questions that I didn't know the answer to. Uh, that's why I sent you to Dr. Northeast. He's the leading expert."
Well,
Madame-
we do have a question that you probably could answer, and I'll get the 2 tarot cards out.
yeah.
Because this is in your field.
I mean,
what do
what do they
mean
upside
like
down?
this? And I'll put them upside down.
You show them to her, and she sort of pulls away, and she's like, "What are these? These are perversions."
Oh, so they're unusual for their design.
These are
You've never seen
horrible.
them like this.
No, they're a perversion of everything. You should destroy those, get rid of them.
These designs, they were.
Oh,
I mean, they're pretending to be tarot cards, but
they're not?
But they're
I've never
not.
seen anything like this. These are horrific.
This is
Sorry,
not
dude.
what they would normally look like.
Sorry to offend your sensibilities, madam. If they had been tarot cards, what would they have meant? I'll put them away.
Well, why don't we do a reading?
Okay.
It seems like maybe something is influencing your life. No,
James, this should be your reading. You should sit down. I think it
Right.
bears on you.
Yeah, these cards were left for me as a message or something. They were both upside down. This was the Moor card and then the Devil card, both upside down on this.
she looks at you as if she's sort of scrutinizing you, and she says, "Please sit." She says, now, I told you the last time that I'm not a fortune teller. This is not magic. I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian. She says, this is not based in any kind of magic. It certainly isn't voodoo, which is what you were asking me all about last time. This is a way to have insight into your own psyche. As the cards are drawn, I will tell you what the card means. I'll tell you how I feel about it in relation to you. And you have to take the words and internalize them to how they mean. I don't know. I can't interpret them. You interpret them for yourself. Some people say it's too generalized, but it's generalized for a reason. These are for you to gain insight into your own mind, your own heart, your own life. So she takes a deck and she brings it out. It's a big deck, and she says, "I want you to think of a question. Think what you really want to know, and I want you to mix the cards up, mix them up every which way, and we'll give you give you some time to do that." Okay, so you're mixing them up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't need to tell me what the question is. Like I say, I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a fortune teller. So we be quiet and we think. And I'm going to do the what we call the 5-card path. The 5-card path will tell you about the past, the present, the future, the obstacle that's in your way that's preventing you from success, and what the outcome will be if you can overcome that obstacle. So she gets quiet for a second, and she picks up the cards and she holds them in her hand. And she says, all right, your first card is the death card. Now that's interesting because you say that's the card that was left in your room, and this is also inverted. This is where you are. Don't be alarmed by the death card. The death card doesn't mean you're going to die. It means transition. It's a transition from one state into another. Or in the case of it being upside down, well, this is where you're coming from. This is what you've already experienced. It represents inertia and the lack of hope. You have come to an impasse, and your mental strain is great. You have been confused, and you don't know what to do. I feel that you've lost something or someone very important to you, but you have found a way to cope with that loss. So that's the past. The next card represents the present. This is where you are right now, both physically and in your state of mind. She picks up the card. The devil, also inverted.
Oh my.
Now, the devil inverted is a good thing. You have regained some clarity and insight, and your intellect is trying at last to dominate your intuition and your feelings. It's a bit confusing, this card. In one sense, intellect gives you great power and the spiritual energy of several people. However, if you instead trust your intuition and your feelings, that energy might be lost. Now, the next card represents the future. This is where you will soon find yourself, where you will have to make a decision of great importance. with profound consequences. The Hanged Man, also inverted. So this card expresses selfishness and egotism. In order to succeed, you must ignore false prophets. You must let go of your fears and do not be afraid to make sacrifices, even self-sacrifice, for the greater good. I can sense that you are seeking someone, and it's this person who has caused your current predicament. He may have to be let go. In what sense, I cannot say. But if you're going to achieve what you came to Haiti to accomplish, you may have to give up something about yourself in order to succeed. The fourth card is the obstacle. This is what stands in your way. This is in order to achieve what you want to achieve, your objectives, you have to overcome the obstacle presented in this next card. Success can only be guaranteed if the obstacle is dealt with. A lot of inverted ones today. The Ten of Wands, inverted. This one represents treachery and loss. You have deceived yourself about something, and this deceit will bring about your downfall. I sense that you need to be honest. In order for you to defeat your enemy, you must come to terms with your own lies. The last card on this path. This is the outcome. This is what happens. This is your the outcome if you overcome that obstacle that I just mentioned. The Ten of Swords. This is difficult. Though the worst things have passed, you will still have pain and anguish. You will be at a very low point. But as they say, the only way left is up. A great good can be accomplished. There will be desertion, but the desertion brings truth, and the truth opens the possibility for future success. These things that I've said to you, think about them, keep them in your heart, wonder about them, and hopefully they'll lead you down a path wherever you need to go. She looks exhausted. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Do you think
Mr.
someone would be leaving these cards for me? I mean, they seem to be the first
They
two
seem
shall
to
on-
be somehow tied into you because somebody else is leaving these blasphemous tarot cards, and they've already matched the first two.
Blasphemous in what sense?
The cards have meaning. The 10 swords in the body represents a disaster of some sort. But those things that you showed me, I have no idea what those symbols are. They're monstrous. What their meaning could mean, I have no idea. It's not part of any tarot deck I've ever seen. I say get rid of them. Don't touch them, burn them. They're bad, bad omens, bad, they're evil. There must be something evil tied to them.
The days seem to be flying as I'm here on the island. When was the last time again when we were here? Okay.
This was a few days ago. You were here with that other fellow.
Did he look like this Mr. here, kind of? Do you have the same features? And I point to Mr. Sterling.
I'm not sure how to answer that.
You can be
You
open. We
all
won't.
you look quite distressed and tired.
Madam Jerome, out of the two of us, I mean, out of the six of us, who all were present for that last reading you did for them?
Well, there were two of you.
And those two were the tall, handsome gentleman that wasn't me. And who else?
And she points at Dirk.
Dirk. So both Dirk and we're assuming Mr. Sterling's sons were the two that were here for the reading. And that was
Well,
it.
they didn't have a reading.
Oh,
Well,
they didn't.
you didn't have a reading. They felt they were skeptics. They weren't interested. You asked me mostly about voodoo, which I don't know anything about voodoo.
I'm the one that asked you about voodoo, Madam Jerome.
Maybe
Miss,
we
she
were-
points at Dirk.
we were
She
looking.
says,
If we were looking for James a few days ago and you came with the handsome man that isn't here now. How would James be with Dirk? Because we hired him and brought him here to find James. So maybe it's not James.
I feel like we may have lost someone from our group that we don't remember.
Oh God.
Gentlemen, you might want to contact your home office and see if you came with a third detective.
I mean, we have a letter that I mean, that says it was just us. So we are
All
just
right.
just the two of us were hired.
Madame Jerome suddenly stands up and she looks just a little frightened all of a sudden. And she says, I'm sorry, I'm very tired. Please show yourself out.
Thank you, madam.
At that point, I won't leave. I kind of want to say, is it what's wrong? We're getting more questions than answers, and I need to know what exactly is distressing you right now.
I don't know anything about voodoo, which is what you wanted to know before. I sent you to Dr. Northwest. There's the library. There's a large section on it in there. But as I say, I'm religious. I'm a Catholic. I don't believe in that
But something just
nonsense.
changed right now, and I want to know what that is. Could you do a little more further explanation of what's going on with you? Did you see something? Did you get a feeling? Is there something we did? What's happening?
She says, I don't want any trouble.
Am I barking up the wrong tree? Can I do a persuade roll, or is it just that she wants us to get the hell out of her place?
I don't know. I think she wants you out. In fact, her next move is she's going to call for Dominic, the guy in the bakery part.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I'll just back off because I do want to take 3 more Napoleons to go. So I don't want to lose that.
All right.
I'll leave a nice tip for the reading and leave as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I didn't discuss
Oh,
price
yeah.
with you, but her readings are $1. So
Yeah, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave her a $100 bill.
oh my God.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Because I think we. All right.
All right.
Well,
So you go out, you get your baked goods, and you go. As you're walking out, do a spot hidden.
Pass.
Fail.
Fail.
Now,
If you,
not regular success.
all right. So if you passed, as you're walking out, you give a glance back at the obvious strangeness of the whole thing, and you do notice Marie Jerome does come to the front door and looks out as you go away. And when you turn, she closes the door and goes back inside.
Can I do like a psychology roll to see like what kind of look she has? Is it
Sure.
I'll spend 1 luck to make it a hard.
Okay, I
Don't
don't
know
think
if it
you need to do
matters,
that.
but
You don't need to do that.
okay.
Well, there's definitely a look of some confusion or fear in her face all of a sudden. Not like it was when you first came in. She was quite pleasant. But it was after you showed her your cards that she kind of became very disturbed by them. All right, so you've stepped out into the street again. Northeast's bungalow isn't very far away, but it's not. At this point, you're heading towards the edge of Port-au-Prince. There's a lot more lush tropical plants. You're kind of on the edge of the town. And as you approach where you think it should be going by the numbers, the property is very heavily overgrown with palm trees and ferns and big leaf plants, what you'd expect to see on a tropical island. There's flowers blooming, there's things like that. Banana tree maybe here and there. The bungalow itself is a nice little bungalow. Looks like something that somebody with some money would live in, but it's only 1 story. But it is sort of tucked into the edge of the jungle right there. So as you walk towards it, you have to kind of go around the flowers and the hedges. And although you can see the street from the yard, it's mostly blocked. So you're seeing the street through the leaves. Does that make sense when you're in Northeast's yard? You immediately notice that something is wrong. There is something up on his porch. As you approach, you realize that there is a dead rooster. The rooster has been hung by the neck. There's blood dripping on the porch, and there is something white on the door that's been painted with something. It looks like this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Looks like a skull. 3 eyes. Whoa.
that's
Didn't
like
one
the
of
card,
cards have
sir.
nothing? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly like the card.
Who would do
Do it.
this? Why? Why?
Do a spot hidden.
Oh, hard success.
Fail.
Yep, I
Fail.
got a hard success.
Okay. Sean and Donna, you both noticed that there are muddy footprints going up to the door. It looks like 3 sets. They are barefoot,
I was going to
and
ask.
they come off the porch. They go up to, come off the porch, go into the jungle. You also notice that the door is cracked open. It looks like the door fastener has been smashed in.
Yeah,
Are
so
they
they're very
shoe prints or are they footprints?
They're bare
Footprints.
footprints.
Okay.
Are they normal adult sized or are they unusually
Yes.
different?
Yeah.
Sir, something has probably happened here, sir. I think you should stay back.
So I
Gentlemen, you and I
pass-
should go in and look.
I pass forward. I reach into the back of the band of my pants and pull out my gun and step.
You have a firearm on you?
I'm a detective. I carry a firearm at all times.
Well, at least
I
one of us
see.
does. This is
All right.
looking quite dire.
I don't pull out my firearm. I just
Well, then, given the circumstances, Mr. Kessler, I'll let you lead.
I push through the door.
and I'll follow right behind.
You push open the door, and it's immediately obvious. The place has been trashed. Okay. It's not only been trashed, but you see signs of a very large machete-sized knife that has slashed into the furniture. It's slashed into the plaster on the walls. There are splatters of blood that you see. There's bookshelves that have been knocked over. There's everything has just been completely trashed. And you can smell decay coming from what looks like a bedroom towards the back.
Yeah, I'm
What
moving
do you guys
forward.
do? You can do a sanity roll at this
I
point.
think that I'm kind of clinging to Amy, like,
No,
because this is absolutely like horrific
Yes.
what we're
Sean-
seeing.
Hard
Sean
pass.
didn't let us in, but I am like definitely in front of my daughter and her friend because if anything comes out, that I'm trying to make
I'm-
sure they're okay, protected.
I failed.
I mean, I
spot
probably would have suggested we go in. Like, there's this
No,
weird
actually,
stuff
I would,
going
I
on,
would,
and
I would, I would
Yeah.
suggest you don't. It's a dangerous place.
I
And
passed,
Stay
No,
put
but-
for the second.
I passed
something
that
has happened,
sanity
and they
roll.
see us three hanging on the porch before. So, that just makes us way more suspicious.
If you pass the sanity roll, don't take any damage. If you didn't, 1d3.
I
Okay.
failed the
I
earlier
passed it.
one.
Same,
just like a
1,
point.
0 or 1d3.
Okay. Let me do that real quick.
Two. Lost 2.
Just one.
Some people don't want us to find out what's going on.
All right, so
yeah. I'm
So
pushing
as I
towards
understand
checking.
it, Dirk and Guy are going in first. Sean and James are, well, Sean's behind them. James, you're kind of with the girls,
Yeah.
standing at the door
Mhm.
with the bloody chicken. All right, James and Dirk and Guy and Sean. As you go in, the place is a mess. There are books that have been torn up. There's papers on the floor. This feels very much like this is more than just a robbery. This feels like a hate crime,
Yeah.
like somebody really wanted to send a message.
Yeah.
If you go through everything, it would take you a couple of hours to go through all of the stuff that's all over the place. What do you guys want to do?
Do we smell any decomposing things?
You can smell the smell of decay.
Yeah. I'm making my way towards that.
Yeah, we should see if the person we're here for is still alive, which they're probably not.
What are you seeing there?
Gun at the ready.
All right.
Sir, the person we came to visit is probably not alive anymore.
Oh my God.
Just
No,
stay
it
calm,
smells
sir.
awful.
The ones
It
who are
seems
after
like a
us-
cult or some group has come through and has
Oh,
done
good
this.
God.
You get to the bedroom and the same. It's been completely trashed. There is a bed that's been damaged, but there is something lying on the bed with a blanket over it, and the blanket has bloody stains on it. The smell is pretty bad.
Dr. Northeast.
But do a spot hidden for me.
That
Failed
might
that.
actually be and I got a 7. Oh no, so just
Got an extreme.
still hard. Okay, yeah, you got an extreme. I got a hard.
You guys are in detective mode, so you guys are really looking. You notice that there was a night table next to the bed that's been pretty much smashed, but with your excellent eyes, you see that there looks like there's a journal that's on the floor. It's kind of flopped face down. It doesn't look like it's particularly damaged. It just wasn't noticed as it got smashed and thrown around the room. You also think you notice movement underneath the bloody blanket.
I'll immediately pull the blanket back if I see movement, like if there's a chance that he might still be alive or whatever underneath is alive. So
Okay.
I'll just kind of like motion to Dirk, like I see movement, have your gun ready, and I'll pull the
Okay.
blanket back.
So, Guy, you are next to the bed. You've grabbed the blanket. You're throwing it back.
Mhm.
Dirk and Sean, you're also in the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm close to the bed.
James, Donna, and Amy. Where are you at this point? Have you come into the house and this room is mostly just trashed? Are you moving
We
over towards?
Probably, I think we would have stepped into the entry to the
Okay.
living room by now, because who wants to hang
Okay.
by a dead chicken?
Right.
Yeah, plus everybody will see us on the porch and something has happened.
Right.
Probably best if we're not seen. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Amy, your curiosity because you're a reporter.
Yeah, also definitely.
All right. I would like Amy and Donna to do spot hiddens.
71. That's a
51.
fail.
Oh, I will spend 1 luck to make it pass.
You don't need to.
Oh,
To
okay.
pass. Okay.
To pass.
If you want to pass, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the process, the three of you notice you're kind of curious, all of this guy's books and papers and things all over the place. In these few moments while you were standing there, you've noticed 3 books that just vaguely sound interesting, especially to an anthropologist. You see one book that says it's called The Masked Messenger. You see a second book that's called Created Worlds and the Insane Mind. And you see another one that says Shadows of the Living. These seem to be almost, library book, textbook sort of things. But that's about as far as you get looking for stuff when in the other room, Guy, you pull back the blanket. Dr. Northeast has been hacked into pieces and his body is lying there. And what's moving is there must be 50 to 100 tarantulas in the bed. And when you flip the blanket back, some of them clinging sort of go flying over and hit the wall and start running around. The tarantulas just come swarming at you. You can do sanity rolls. And I stopped Donna and Amy because from the other room, I think you're going to hear, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are going to hear,
there's gonna be
hear a
cussing.
large man screaming, shrieking at the top of his lungs.
What's going on in there?
Stay out of here.
If I
What's
can,
happening?
I'm going to reach down and grab that journal and run because that was just
I would like
guy.
Dirk and Guy and Sean to all do constitution rolls. I'm sorry, dexterity rolls to see if in all the garbage you don't trip over one another. And
I'm tripping.
I got a
I'm
double
not.
out one, so extreme.
I got a 06.
I got a 93.
okay. So Dirk trips over his own feet right at the
Yeah.
door. And
Can
Guy and
my
Sean,
extreme help Dirk?
no, I think we'll make it fun.
I-
You
I tried,
managed to
brother.
leap over Dirk and go out the door. And
was
Sean,
I able to
you're,
grab the journal?
yeah,
Okay.
you grab the journal. But now these things are swarming. Dirk, you're on the ground. And Sean, you're jumping over Dirk as well, stepping on his back.
No, I won't do that if I can help it.
I've been a dick to you. It's probably warranted.
All right.
Dirk, these things are going to come crawling all over you. Do a dodge roll.
Okay. imagine I was holding it together till I was, on eye level with them, and now
Right.
we're getting panicky. Dodge roll. Yeah, I got a standard success.
Okay, you managed to get up and shake any off that have managed to get on you. And all three men come barreling out of the room. And Donna and Amy and James, you suddenly see big old, they're actually banana spiders come, appearing in the doorway, coming out after them.
God, shut the door.
Can we?
Oh my God.
Um,
Too much stuff
you
in
can
the
do a
way,
luck
or-
roll if you want to
Dirk's
shut the
head's in the
door.
way.
But yeah, there might be things in the way.
Okay.
Dirk's just happy no one was in the room whenever he flailed about like a small child trying to get these spiders off of him.
So you quickly, are you going to stay in the living room? Because now they're coming into the living room.
I don't
The
think we
books
can.
that I saw, are they pocketable?
Well,
Yeah.
not pocketable, but you can pick them up and grab them.
Okay, she's gonna run over and grab the books and head out.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
I wanted to take them as well. Good job. Yeah, let's get out of here. By the way, the chicken hanging on the porch, I have a little in occult. Would I know if this is a symbol for something or?
It certainly seems like a bad voodoo symbol of some sort.
But I don't recognize it, or do I?
Do an occult roll.
I have 40 in occult. Should I?
I have
Well,
extreme.
she has.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So what you do know is that voodoo does use chicken sacrifices. In this case, probably the way it's hung, it's a curse. It's some sort of curse. They really wanted to send a message.
Okay, yeah, sorry to break up the momentum,
that's
but I
good.
was just wondering about it.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I assume you guys are going out.
Yes. There's no point in
Yeah.
staying in a house full of spiders.
As you are going out, you have made quite a racket, yelling and so forth. At first, you see there are a couple of people here and there that have noticed that something is going on, and you see two gendarmes coming in your direction towards the house. They see you, and they see that you seem to be in distress. The two of them come up and they're like, "Is something wrong?"
There's a dead body in there. Somebody's been murdered.
A dead body.
Yeah, somebody's been hacked with a machete, probably quite a bit.
Well, he
Yes,
looks.
but don't open the door. There's
There's
spiders
a lot of
everywhere.
spiders in there.
Yeah.
Spiders?
Large ones. There's a lot of the large ones.
The one stands there for a moment. He looks at the other one. He says, "Go check it out." And
Be careful, sir. You could get.
And he says, "So what are you doing here?"
We came to visit a friend of ours and we found this mess.
This is Dr. Northeast's house.
Yes.
You hear, as you're standing here talking to this guy, you hear the guy open the door, go inside, and suddenly go, "Jesus Christ!"
The spiders.
He suddenly yells. You can hear the sound of stomping. And he yells back, "Get in here. There's spiders everywhere." And the guy says, "Hold on a moment."
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
goes over
Spiders.
and they go inside. They're inside for a couple of minutes.
Sir, we could go now.
Do we report this to O and I, or the
I don't
authorities,
feel
or-
we have a lot of time to deal with whatever we're dealing with, and going to the station to make a statement is going to eat up a lot of it. But it's up to you, sir. I suggest we take this opportunity to leave.
Maybe we should make a quick exit. I mean,
we
but
can't leave those men in there with all those
They're
spiders.
trained officers of the law versus a bunch of arachnids. If they get defeated by the arachnids, I'll feel very concerned for this nation.
I,
Yeah.
I'm more worried that they'll see us as suspects
The
since we just
message-
came out and disappear after.
this was a message to someone, perhaps to us.
We'll stay
Message
behind.
has been
Surely they wouldn't
received.
see us doing this.
We'll stay
We
behind,
are
and you guys can go ahead.
clean. We
They
don't
will.
have blood on us.
Well, Detective Randall, I would like to look at that journal before we do anything else.
We'll bring it back to the hotel when we're done dealing with the officers.
Right.
Yeah, we're not going to leave. We didn't
Well,
do
actually,
anything wrong here.
Randall, let me take it to read if we're going to be waiting for you then.
Oh no,
You're the one hired by us.
I understand that, and that's we'll go through it together. Or you can stay with O'Neill. You're more than welcome to stay with, and
Then I've got, okay, then we all have to stay here because I can't let Mr. Sterling go back by himself.
that's
You're all gonna stay?
100% your choice.
I'm gonna do 'cause I got
Just to
pretty
explain,
high
I'm sorry.
intimidate. I'm gonna look at Randall and say, "You're working for me, and if we ask for the book, you gotta hand it over." And I'm gonna do it like as an intimidate. Not that I'm, not that I wouldn't share things with you later. I'm just what do we got here? That is an O2, so that is an extreme success.
Oh, Daddy.
All right, so what would be the opposite of his intimidate?
Well, you would just roll intimidate also in the.
Oh, okay.
You guys could just
Have to get a better
intimidate each
roll.
other.
Staring daggers at each other.
However, the
Daring
time that you're taking
contest.
to argue about it.
Yeah,
The cops are back, and we're all going to jail. Yay!
yeah, we don't have to waste
Oh,
time.
I got an extreme, but it was a 7 instead.
Yeah.
That's
So we'll say James has hired you, so
It would
Okay.
actually be really bad if you told your company we're acting like shits when we're hired.
Yeah.
That's not going to look good on your performance review.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if I lost
take
it,
the book.
I'll
in any case,
I'll take
I
the
think
book
at this
from him,
point
and then
you're all
we'll-
still standing there when.
yeah. Okay,
Um,
so I'll hand the book over. I'd like to explain that I'm kind of in a guy's in a really weird place because he looks up to Dirk, and something weird just happened where Dirk was with somebody else, and we don't know what that was, and so
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody right now, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking that maybe you want to get that journal because we've already had contact with him, and
And-
you want to maybe obscure something else, and I'm feeling really alone right now.
And on a related note, when he mentioned Dirk being with someone else, I'm starting to question if you actually are Guy Randall in my head, and if you're just somebody else from the when we got out of there, and not just the way that you know that. you guys-
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd
but-
say
oh,
yeah. We're all in a
Yeah.
really.
You don't match the
But-
description.
but it's in my head. That's why I wanted to get the book, and
Yeah.
yeah, just in case.
All right, so almost comically, you hear one of the cops, sort of come jumping back out of the house, going "Ugh!" like that.
Yeah.
The other one, the senior one, he comes out. You hear him slam the door closed, and they both come back over to you, and he says, "Look, you need to go over everything that happened, and we'll take this down. You said you were coming to visit,
Mhm.
and you found it like this?"
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Well, we believe you. I'd like you to do, I'll do psychology.
All of us?
Sure, why
You can
not?
all do it.
I'd like to say if it wasn't
I
I
noticed,
got a 9. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't make it.
That's
Yeah.
the
that's a
gun's
hard
back in
success
the
for me.
waistband.
I failed.
So those of you who
Extreme
passed,
for me. I got an extreme.
Failed.
okay, wasted all those extreme rules and stuff, but the
Well, I wasted
impression
to
that
know
you
what
get
else to take.
is the impression you immediately get is you aren't suspects because you're white.
Yeah. Well, I was going to point out to the police, because this will definitely help our case, and to do this, the 3 barefoot footprints going to the door into the jungle. And I'll go like, look, gentlemen, right there. I think this is our culprits.
Yeah, they see those, and yeah, you're probably right. Look, I've taken this information down. Where are you staying?
We're at the Olafson Hotel if you need
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I will, if we need you, we'll get back to you.
Okay.
That's pretty horrific. It does look like voodoo shit.
Yeah.
What is the reaction to the all the symbolism, the chicken, the skull on the door? Are these cops, are they white or are they Haitian?
Say one is white and one's Haitian.
So how are they reacting like to the obvious signs of
It's
voodoo?
obviously voodoo. It's
Yeah.
Doctor, they seem to know who he was. Probably everybody in town knows who he is. He was an expert on voodoo. It's the thing that he was here studying. He apparently must have gotten a little too involved, and one of the bad guys came and took him out. But there's, books in the library on voodoo, and he's written books on voodoo. So something really bad happened. You don't look like practitioners of voodoo, so you're free to go.
Okay. Head back to the hotel.
We need to go back to the hotel and just kind of get our wits about ourselves.
Okay. So
Take a
When we
look
get
at
back,
this
we need
journal.
to look through the journal and see what he was up to and what he was looking into.
Yeah, we'll all,
He found out
all of
something
us
we need to know.
detectives.
So
I'm gonna
as
think-
you are walking away, I'd like y'all to do listen rolls.
Pass.
Fail.
Great success.
Well, that's
Oh,
another
mine was an
well,
extreme.
Mine was also an extreme.
Yeah.
Oh,
So as you're stepping away, you definitely, those of you who passed, especially the extreme, you hear the younger cop turn to the older cop, and he says, "What the hell was that all about?" And you guys are all in Dirk and Guy's room at the hotel. Donna and Amy are sitting on the bed. James and Sean are standing next to each other with Dirk and Guy, and you're all just sort of staring at one another. And James, you have the book, you have the journal in your hand. Donna, you have the books, but they've been placed on the table next to you. And that's where we're going to end it for this evening. It's also later in the day, probably late afternoon, early evening at this point.
Dirk is
And that's where we
extremely
will leave it.
uncomfortable.
oh gosh. They're all,
Our
And what
players.
was the name? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask, what was the name of that first book? I only got The Masked.
I'll give them to you.
Mask
The
Oh,
mask
okay.
afterwards. Our players included Joe Bardalis, Carrie Marion, Kuhn Leighton, Kent Blue, Michael Ramirez, and Troy Lehman, with yours truly as the keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page listed in the description, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.